What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, tonight, whatever it is for you, we've got a brand new archetype revealed for Bach or Battles of Chaos. I'm very excited. It's called Dinoraphia, which means it's a dinosaur archetype, most likely. And we know how many amazing generic dinosaur cards we already have access to in the game. So let's just jump into it. I'm really excited to see, because I've always said this. I was like, as soon as they make like an interesting, like cool new dinosaur archetype, like yes, like we got like Dino Wrestlers, but they don't really work that well as an archetype. They kind of just have a couple of good generic cards, Pancratops being a prime example. We haven't gotten one since we got like the Dino Fury structure deck. So hopefully this can mesh with that. Let's get into it. First off here, we have Dinoraphia Reversion. This is a level 4 dark dinosaur, perfect. They already have a Rhoda for this. Okay, 1500 attack, 0 defense. I haven't read anything. It literally just dropped like less than 5 minutes ago. I'm very excited. You can only use once, you can only use each of the first and second effects once per turn. First effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can set one Dinoraphia trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. Then if you have 2,000 or less life points, this card gains 500 attack. Very, very cool. +1 on the first effect. I love it. It's a little bit slower because it's playing traps clearly. Can't wait to see what those do, but still a really solid effect. Second effect, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish one trap from your graveyard. Special summon one level 4 or lower Dinoraphia monster from your graveyard except for herself. Okay, that's pretty good as well. We've got generic floating. By the way, you can destroy this with your own card and it will still trigger to summon another one back from grave. Very, very cool. Now, it is interesting that it doesn't summon from deck. It does summon from grave. So you do have to have another name in grave because it can't summon itself back, but really solid first monster. Gets a +1 on summon and has a floating effect that's not bad as long as you have any other name from the archetype in the grave. Very solid. Second monster here, we have Dinoraphia Diplos. This is a level 4 dark dinosaur as well. 1000 attack, 0 defense. You can only use each of the first and second effects with this card's name only once per turn. First effect reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can send down one Dinoraphia card from deck to the graveyard. Then if you have 2,000 or less attack or life points, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Interesting. So this guy is your Armageddon Knight for the archetype. Just on summon, send anything. I guess that kind of works with her because it does just help you get something sent to grave immediately. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe, I mean, listen, this might be crazy. Maybe something like Ties of the Brethren could be playable here, right? Soul Eating Oviraptor, level 4 dark dino, I believe. So you could literally like normal summon him to send Foolish Burial a monster. You activate Ties for her to get it to set a free trap, which I'm assuming there's a disruption in there. Then search or also summon Oviraptor, and Oviraptor searches you another card. Maybe that's going to search you something that's more follow-up than anything, but still really good value. Secondly, if this card is destroyed battle or card effect, you can banish a trap from your grave to special summon a level 4 or lower Dinoraphia monster from your grave. Same float effect here, but I really like that. The longer the duel goes on, these guys become essentially, if you can just fill up your grave, they essentially just become almost have the same feeling as, what are they called? Oh, I'm blank. Unchained. Jesus. Similar float effects to those. Very cool start. And then we get to some fusions. Okay. Here we go. First one here is Dinoraphia Kentragina. Very cool artwork. I love this. Level 6 dark dinosaur fusion effect monster. 4,000 attack. Fusion materials. 2 Dinoraphia monsters with different names. You can only use each of the second and third effects of this card once per turn. First effect, loses attack equal to your life points. Okay. All right. It makes a little more sense now. Second effect. During the main phase as a quick effect, you can pay half your life points, then banish one Dinoraphia normal trap from your graveyard. This effect becomes that trap card's effect when that card is activated. Ooh, very interesting. So that means even in the same turn, you could literally use one of the traps, potentially disrupt your opponent, or maybe there's a trap that summons this card, then banish the trap again to summon another one out of the deck or disrupt your opponent again because it's not activating the same card. Even if it's a hard return, it's a new effect. Very cool. Not a bad effect. Paying half your life points definitely gets sketchy, but once you start getting under 4,000, she actually will have a stat line, which is nice, I guess. Third effect, if this card is destroyed, battle, or card effect, you can special summon one level 4 lower Dinoraphia monster from your grave. And she floats, so even if their goal is just go battle phase, walk over this, and, you know, continue in main phase 2, you're going to float off of this. That could easily just summon back our girl, Therizia. She gets us a set for another trap for free, and she floats as well. Pretty solid. And the last extra deck monster here we have Dinoraphia Stealth Begia. I love the design for this. This thing looks awesome. I love that they're in like a futuristic city, but they're still dinosaurs. Level 6 Dinosaur Fusion. It's dark as well. 0 attack, 2,500 defense. Takes any 2 Dinoraphia monsters with different names, and the second and third effects are hard once per turn effects. The first effect reads, while you have 2,000 or less life points, you do not pay life points to activate trap cards or Dinoraphia monster effects. Okay, not that important. Fine, I would say, but okay. Second effect, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can inflict damage to them equal to that monster's original attack. Okay, I mean, it's a hard once per turn, so like it's not like we can like legitimately scare our opponent out of activating effects by like scaring them by like burning themselves to death if they continue to activate monster effects, but fine, I guess, sure. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effects, special summon a level 4 lower Dinoraphia monster from the grave. Makes sense. This one's kind of lackluster. This is honestly the first card out of the bunch that I think is like kind of super meh to me. Just doesn't do anything super worthwhile, in my opinion. All right, moving on here. We've got some trap cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whole trap cards. Let's get into it. Starting off here, we have a normal trap called Dinoraphia Domain. It's a normal trap. You can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. The first effect reads, during the main phase, pay half your life points as cost. Jeez. Fusion summon a Dinoraphia fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion materials. Hell yeah. Secondly, when your opponent activates a card or effect, if you have 2,000 life points or less, you can banish this card from the graveyard and you take no damage from your opponent's card effects this turn. Meh. Second effect, it like sounded like it was going to be really good. Like if it was a negate, but you had to get your own life points really low, and then it was just a straight up negate, that'd been really good, but it just saves yourself from more damage. But still, this card is just a card that lets you fuse from deck, so you can just send these, and that fills them up in grave to potentially get your float effects live, and get you this one, which if you can put any of the other decent traps in grave, pretty solid. Also, like, so this card essentially, like, by itself gets you both of these. This guy and this girl, because you can, like, use this to send 2 to summon her, then use her main phase effect to banish this trap to then summon him. Not that that's super imposing. You'd want a trap that actually disrupts your opponent, but okay, decent value off of just one trap card. Secondly, Dinoraphia Alert. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. It's a normal trap. Pay half your life points as cost. Sheesh. For the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except for Dinoraphia monsters. Also, special summon from your graveyard up to 2 Dinoraphia monsters whose total levels equal 8 or less, but they cannot declare attacks. So you're either going to summon 2 level 4 or lowers, ideally, or one of the fusions, because it says up to, so you could still summon just the one of the level 6s. But they can't declare attacks, unfortunately. But still decent. And the second effect, when your opponent activates a card or effect, if you have 2,000 life points or less, you can banish this card from your graveyard and you take no damage from your opponent's card effects this turn. Okay, so I guess the idea here is that if you're using these cards to put out all these monsters which have solid floating effects, the only way you'd be dying, assuming you're able to just like put all these bodies on the field that float and stuff when they're destroyed, is you shouldn't be dying in the battle phase that way because you're able to just spam a bunch of floating bodies on the field. And so the only way you'd be dying is by paying a bunch of life points. Your opponent could technically dink and dunk you for, you know, with a burn effect. And so this actually helps you with that, I guess. Cool. Next up, we have Dinoraphia Brute. Normal trap, you can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. First effect reads, and wouldn't you believe it, pay half your life points as cost. Say it with me. Sheesh. Destroy both one Dinoraphia monster you control and one card your opponent controls. Ooh, I love that this doesn't target, and it doesn't target your monster or your opponent's monster. So Really, really cool. Although I am not sure exactly how this works on resolution. If your opponent were to like remove your monster on field so you had no Dinoraphia, would this still resolve to pop their card at least? I don't actually know, but it's very interesting. Not bad, because all of your cards float. So you're going to pop your own monster. It's going to float into another monster. And then if this is like an actual disruption. So it's really solid with the fusion, right? You could set this, use it, and then you banish it again to use this, to use her again to then like get another pop on something. Pop herself, she floats into another monster. Whoop the freaking do. We're rotating resources. How do you like them apples? Has the same graveyard effects, protects you from opponent's card effect damage. Then we have some counter traps. 3 whole counter traps. Wow. Okay, Dinoraphia Shell is a counter trap. You only have to get 1 card of this card's name per turn. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, pay half your life points. Say it with me. Sheesh. Special summon 1 Dinoraphia token. Okay, it's a level 10 dinosaur, 0 attack, 3000 defense. And if you do, your opponent cannot target other monsters for attacks while you control that token this turn. And then the second effect is the same. The counter traps protect you from battle damage. You take no, so during damage calculation, if you would take battle damage and you have less than 2,000 life points or less, you can banish this card from graveyard. You take no damage from this battle. Protects you from a battle. Okay, taking damage. That's actually not bad. I will take that. Interesting card though. I don't know if it's actually worth, but okay. Here we go. Counter trap. Dinoraphia Sonic. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card, if you control a Dinoraphia monster, say it with me. Pay half of your life points. Sheesh. Negate the activation if you do destroy that card, then destroy 1 Dinoraphia monster you control. During damage calculation, if you would take battle damage and you have 2,000 left, save yourself from taking damage in a battle if you had less than 2,000 life points. Very cool, but that's a spell and trap negate. I will take that. That's decent. Still, pay half your life points. You do have to control a Dinoraphia, but I would expect you'd have to at least control one to activate any of these. And the last one here is Dinoraphia Reversion. This is a counter trap. You can only activate 1 card with this name per turn. If you control a Dinoraphia fusion monster, you do have to have a fusion to make this card live. Pay half your life points, then banish 1 counter trap from your graveyard. Say it with me. Sheesh. This effect becomes that counter trap card's effect when that card is activated. Interesting. What's interesting here is you can banish any counter trap, period, from your grave. Which means Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, whatever it is. Very interesting. Do have to control fusion, do have to pay half your life points, but still interesting. And then it has that same second effect protecting you from lay battles. But very, very interesting. I gotta say, I think this is like a super unique archetype. I love that they took this take. Like, I know some people are going to be upset because they're going to be like, oh, I saw dinosaurs, I was so hype. And I was like, yes, dinosaurs can be good again. And then I saw that it was like a control-y, stunny kind of deck. And then they were sad. But I actually love this because I've already played versions of dinosaurs before where you actually do play more of a control kind of grindy game. And this stuff actually helps with that. Don't forget, we still have... what's the card called? I'm literally blanking on it. Literally the Rhoda card that searches any dinosaur level 6 or lower. I'm blanking on the name right now because I'm stupid. Fossil Dig, Jesus. We have Fossil Dig. We also have Oviraptor, which searches some of these cards, right? We have the ability to pop babies and summon these straight out of the deck. Like you summon this one just immediately gets you a trap. If you want, you just get the one that gives you like a Trident effect. And if you had another one of these names engraved, you get to float. But very interesting. It's definitely not complete. I will say that because they float into each other, I definitely want to see more main deck monsters. And I also want to see probably one more boss monster that feels a little more legitimate here. But it's obviously a very defensive deck. There's no way you would have a deck that wants to pay half your life points multiple times and not be defensive, right? Because that's the whole idea. This deck isn't super OTK-ish, but it does seem like one of those decks that, like, even though you're paying half your life points, your deck is supposed to be so, I don't know, what's the idea? Like, thick and hard to, like, break through to actually get to your opponent's life points that You know, it's not as easy, even though they may get themselves down to 500 life points, 1,000 life points, whatever it is, after a couple turns, it still can be hard to break through and actually get in for that kind of damage. Very cool archetype. I think it's unique. I think it's fun. I think it's a really cool direction for a dinosaur archetype. And just think about all the like dinosaur cards we already have that help this out. Very, very awesome. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm actually very excited for this. This actually takes Battle of Chaos to the next tier for me. It actually was kind of a little bit lackluster so far, but this is an archetype I'm very excited about. And there's only about 10 cards here, I believe. So we still have like 40 more cards, like literally half the set to get in the next like 10 days. So stay tuned for that. I will bring you guys news and reviews on those cards as soon as they drop. So subscribe if you have not yet and you want to stay up to date on those, and let me know in the comment section your thoughts on these new dinosaur cards, archetype, whatever you want to call it. I love you. Thanks for watching. Peace.